Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy, boy. We live from the basement. You know what I'm saying? You see me? We back. We back. You know what I'm saying? Fresh cut. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Boogie Six Summers. I'm gonna shout him out in my next video too. Y'all know. I'm gonna shout out everybody that helped me get to where I'm going. You see, I'm moving the mic around, so I'm trying to see a nice. You know, I'm trying to get to a nice spot. You feel me? Um, yeah. So check this out. Today, as you can see in the corner, we finna learn about the real life battle royal that took place, aka the real life Squid Game is what they want to call it. This video is posted by the channel Simple History. Y'all know me. I love history. I got 110% on every history class I ever took in my life. If you ain't get the feel for my channel yet, it's whatever's on, man. We watching, we learning, we vibing, we laughing. We don't do nothing negative. Even if we're watching some scary or tricky type of stuff, we're still gonna learn from it. We're still gonna vibe with it. You feel me? I don't care if you came in here today and you was crying. Guess what? I'm gonna make you smile at some point in time. This energy is infectious. Either you gonna smile because of my smile or you gonna smile because of something I say. You know what I'm saying? Check it out. I'm licking my lips because I'm LL Cool J. It's like, nah, it's your boy, little boy. We live from the basement. Let's I got that Q&A drop in for y'all. My 10th video Q&A. It's not even really a Q&A. I only ask myself like 5-6 questions, but I spend a good 5-6-7 minutes maybe talking and explaining a little about myself a little more. Hopefully that's enough to hold you guys over till we hit a path, you know. I appreciate everybody that's watching these videos. I appreciate everybody that's rocking with me. Let me get a like. Let me get a comment. Let me get a subscribe. Help me grow my channel, man. You know, help me chase my dreams. You feel me? I just want to make y'all. I just want to entertain y'all. Make y'all days better. You know what I'm saying? So you should help me do that. You should help me help you. You know, let me keep a smile on y'all's face. You know what I'm saying? Invest in me. So we're gonna jump right into it. Like I said, this video is from Simple History, and it's the real life battle royal, real life Squid Game. You might want to call it. It's happening in Russia. Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. It's happening in Russia in the 30s. So I'm not necessarily sure if this was during World War II, but it's in between World War One and World War II, where a lot of weird stuff was going on in the world. A lot of tricky experiments. A lot of like people wanted to be the #1 world power. So without further ado, let's get to it.
Nazina, Russia, 1933. On May 18, 1933, on the direct orders of Stalin himself, 5,000 men and women arrived at Nazina, a small isolated island on the river Orb, deep in the remote and barren wilderness of western Siberia. Within a matter of weeks, 4,000 of them would either just die from exposure, disappear, drown, or be eaten.
If y'all don't know about the history of Siberia, Siberia is like that place where the guy from Rocky. Siberia is like the place where the guy from Rocky that killed Apollo with his hands. That's like where that guy comes from. It's like Siberia, like up in the mountains in the cold, where you live with wolves and all that good stuff.
This was the real-life battle royale. The Soviet Union was a miserable place to live during this period, with severe food shortages which resulted in millions of people dying of starvation. Any form of criticism of the state was dealt with brutally, where the offender would probably get a life sentence and be sent to a gulag, where they would literally be worked to death carrying out hard labor.
You hear him? He was sent to the gulag, you know what I'm saying? Big guns, heavy straps, a gulagger. Check out the TVG mob, you know what I'm saying? Because y'all be shooting at the ground, y'all some shoe tappers.
Stalin's purge of the so-called socially harmful elements of society mainly concentrated on certain groups, such as the Cossacks, ethnic minorities, intellectuals, and the kulaks, who were peasants who owned their own land and were sometimes hesitant in contributing a share of their goods to the common collective. Even the armed forces,
As they should, because they own their land, so they can make whatever choice they want to and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? You own your land, you do what you want. You feel me? When you pay taxes, the police work for you. You just gotta have the right attitude about it, and you gotta have a complexion for the connection. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people like to say that stuff don't matter. That stuff still matters to this day. Now, if you don't got the complexion for the connection, make a friend who has the complexion for the connection. You know what I'm saying? But make sure they true to what they say to you, and they're not gonna just leave you high and dry.
were not exempt, as mass purges were commonplace, which normally resulted in the execution of its most experienced officers. The Nazina settlers also included a wide cross-section of urban society, not just criminals and vagrants, but also regular workers, children, and pensioners. Many were taken simply because they had failed to obtain an internal passport. However, others included a party member who had stepped out of her apartment without her party card, a worker buying cigarettes who had left his passport at home, a 12-year-old girl waiting at a train station.
You imagine how messed up that is? You just buying cigarettes, you forgot your motherfucking passport at home, and now you getting sent away because they don't think you are who you are, or just because they can. I mean, shit. Who am I to say that? Like, that stuff happened to, like, fucking ancestors of mine. Who know? I don't know. I shouldn't even be laughing at that, but yeah.
And while her mother bought bread, as well as the pregnant wife of a naval officer and a 103-year-old man. None of them were pioneers ready to settle and farm a harsh and unforgiving land. In February 1933, the head of the secret police, Genrik Jagoda, and the head of the Gulag labor camp system, Matvey Berman, got together and approached Stalin.
So the Gulag labor camp system, as of right now, sounds just like slavery. Sounds like they have people in there working for free. And that's not right. It's not right at all.
With a plan to resettle 2 million of these people into what was thought to be the vast area of untapped natural resources in Siberia and Kazakhstan. However, the environment was harsh and extremely cold, and much of the area was tundra and frozen all year round. Even when it did thaw out in the summer, the ground became swampy and infertile and unsuitable for any kind of agriculture. To add to this, the air would have been thick with mosquitoes. One of the areas that was chosen for the project was Nazina Island, which was on the north bank of the Orb River, deep inside the Siberian wilderness. The island was only ever visited by the local Ostyak people from the nearby village of Nazina to gather tree bark to use as firewood. It was relatively small, measuring just 2 miles or about 3.2 kilometers long and 650 yards or 595 meters wide.
How they gonna advertise this as a real life Squid Game and we only seen one person get shot so far? I just want you to know I'm on y'all side. We watching this together.
And mostly made up of inhospitable swampland. Hunting and foraging was going to be nearly impossible. Many thousands of the so-called undesirables, which also included hardened and petty criminals by now, were being held in overcrowded prisons in Moscow and Leningrad. So, in the spring of 1933, they were loaded into all sorts of railway carriages, which included cattle trucks, and began a 10-day journey to Tomsk, where the half-completed transit camps were waiting for.
I didn't see him shooting Buddy in the back like that. I mean, I know this is animated, but I didn't see that coming.
For them. During the journey, gangs of criminals systematically beat up and robbed their fellow passengers. On May 14, 1933, after the prisoners had been processed and selected, 5,000 of these settlers set off on their journey to Nazina Island. They were loaded onto river barges that had only been designed to carry timber down the River Orb and were only given 200 grams of bread each a day for the 5-day journey. By the time they had arrived at Nazina, 30 people had died on the barges, and a third of them were too weak to even stand. The authorities had failed to provide any.
So now I'm pretty sure this is the point where we get into what they were trying to accomplish here. But like as of right now, I'm pretty sure they just kidnapped random people from their country and decided, hey, you guys are gonna go be test subjects in this this new colony we're trying to build.
Form of shelter on the island, nor any basic tools or building materials to construct basic shelters against the elements. On their first night there, it snowed heavily, and almost 300 people had frozen to death by the morning from exposure. This happened every night, and some people were actually burned alive from laying too close to the campfires that they had made to try to keep themselves warm.
300 people died a night?
20 tons of flour had been left on the island for the settlers.
Straight
away, fights broke out when guards tried to distribute it daily, and they ended up firing at the mob to break them up. As no ovens were available there to make bread or anything else, the settlers either ate the flour raw or mixed it with dirty water from the river, and this led to an outbreak of dysentery. Daily fighting soon broke out over whatever resources were still available, and killings became commonplace, and the bodies were robbed of any possession.
My boy, that dirty water thing is real. I went to Puerto Rico, and they put ice in my drink. And let's just say I was on the toilet for a little minute, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta watch that water you drink, man. Make sure it's filtered. Make sure it's natural, however you want to say it.
They had, including money and especially gold fillings and crowns from their mouths. To add to all this misery, 9 days later, another 1,200 settlers arrived on the island, and very quickly, groups of rival gangs started to form, and murder and extortion became commonplace.
Just to join?
In desperation, many of the settlers tried to construct crude rafts out of pieces of wood that they could find to flee the island, but they were so basic that they were not fit for purpose, and they just sank. So they simply drowned in the ice-cold river, and their bodies were washed up on the shore along the River Orb. If they did manage to reach the opposite bank of the river alive, the guards would go and hunt them down for sport, and no questions were ever asked as to what had happened to them.
So this ain't no Squid Game. This is like real life Survivor / The Hunted, like, you know?
Because of the lack of sanitation, there was soon an outbreak of typhus, which many succumbed to because of their already weak state of health. But far worse was to come, because within a week, a doctor discovered cases of cannibalism beginning to appear on the island as people became desperate to find something to eat. It started out with cutting slices of flesh from the dead corpses and cooking them, but then progressed to killing people who were so weak or were so close to death, and therefore so vulnerable and unable to defend themselves. When one survivor was asked if he had eaten human flesh while on the island, he replied that he had only eaten livers and hearts, and then only from people who were dying anyway. Another incident involved a young woman who was having a relationship with one of the guards. When he was not around to protect her, some men tied her to a tree, killed her, and cut off everything from her body that they could eat. Despite the many arrests and executions by the guards, the situation was brought under control when, after a damning...
So, this just seemed like you guys sent some guards with no plan, with no nothing. Just, hey, just put them on a deserted island. Nothing around them, no ovens, no nothing, no structures, nothing. Just leave them in the wild. Let's just see what they do. Let's just see what happens.
Internal report was submitted.
Casino
it was decided to
Royale.
abandon the settlement on Nazina Island only after a month after it had been set up.
Only a few you will get that.
Approximately 1/3 of the settlers had died, while another third were reported as missing, possibly escaped, drowned, or eaten. Just over 2,000 people had survived. Unknown to the settlers at the time, all of their hardships had been in vain, as back in Moscow there had been a change in policy, and Stalin and the authorities had decided to cancel the whole settler experiment program. There was an official investigation into the Nazina incident, but the findings were never made public at the time. Several local officials and guards were given short prison sentences or dismissed from office. In the mid-1980s, the human rights group Memorial made the details of their findings public after they had investigated the episode themselves. A memorial cross was placed on the island in 1993 to remember those who had lost their lives there. The inscription on its plaque reads, "To the victims of political repression, 1933 to 19..."
What is this cross supposed to do? What is this cross supposed to, like, no, we're just here in memory.
93. And every June, the local villagers from Nazina cross the river and place a wreath on the memorial.
So, yeah, that was the real life battle royal. I'm not going to call that a Squid Game. I'll call that a real life battle royal. Because, you know, they was getting eliminated in waves. They say a third died, a third went missing. So let's just presume that they died. Maybe a couple escaped, but it didn't look like they could escape from that place. Mr. Stalin's kind of messed up for that, you know. I wanted to bring more of a friendly feel for this video, more of just not so conspiracy-ish. We've been kind of stuck in that wave or scary or things like that. I'm just here to look up anything that's interesting. So if there's something y'all want me to watch, man, hit up the channel on Twitter at your boy LaBoy. Um, I mean, I don't want you commenting in my Instagram videos to watch, but you can DM me on Instagram, SCXNZSZN, scan season with the X as the A, you know. Um, I'm thinking about doing a Discord when I get some more subscribers, maybe, you know, so I can interact with y'all more. I already have a Patreon set up, but I'm not going to do it until I have more subscribers, because then I can do, you know, unedited versions. Well, edited, but unfiltered versions of the stuff that I do here. Like I said, when I get this CPU and all that stuff, we're going to try to get on Twitch. I got big dreams. I need y'all support so I can do them, or if not, it's just a waste of time. Um, do y'all think y'all could survive something like this? Let me know in the comments below. What would you do? Would you gang up and rob people, or would you try to do your own thing? Would you just try to escape? What would you try to do? Let me know. I'm working on looking into the camera more, just so y'all know too. It's a little strange. I got two monitors. I gotta watch one. I gotta look at the other one. I gotta check how long my video's been going. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning. It's a process. I'm getting better. Um, uh, yeah. You know, I had to wipe my nose real quick. You know, nah, but yeah, it's your boy, little boy, was live from the basement. I appreciate all support. Let me get a like on the video. Let me get a comment. Let me know what you guys will do. Let me know what you guys think was the worst thing. Let me know what I should do next. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, or if you're new, this is the first time seeing me, man. I do reactions. I'm going to do vlogs. I'm going to do story times. I'm going to do it all. I might even do some other type content where I get some of my friends together to compete for some money and things like that. Just let me know what you guys want to do. Let me know what you guys are into. I hope you have a blessed day. Yeah, it's your boy, LaBoy. We're live from the basement. I'm out.